Hey, it's Thursday night. We're on the air with a show for you because we care about you and we didn't want to leave you hanging this week.
That's
It's
how
US
we
Fan TV.
roll.
It is US Fan TV. I am Pat. He is Chris.
I am Chris.
And with us, we also have TJ.
I'm here for now. My computer is apparently awful, so if I disappear and have the technology challenges of Combs, just that'll happen.
You guys and your technology, man. And I still love that you have a
Things
landline.
things have been good for me lately.
Things are looking up.
Yeah, I've gotten shows to run without a problem
Without
lately.
me, yeah,
Yeah.
you've done the whole thing yourself, so we should not make fun of you anymore.
Yes, we should.
I intentionally or I tried to get in a little bit late because I realized as I was setting up that I forgot to charge my iPad in advance, so
That's
it's
always
under
the thing.
50%. So I think it's still enough; it'll be fine. But
When
I
you,
was intentionally
yeah.
logging in late just to make sure that I was conserving battery.
I don't think this is going to be a long show, but when I say that, it's going to be like 2 hours. But we have things that we would like to discuss with you, and they all, we normally, if you're new, discuss soccer in the United States and our players abroad and that sort of thing. Um, but all of the things that we have to discuss for you this week involve Americans in Germany.
Yeah, jawohl.
And we should
Das ist
begin
gut.
with the birthday boy. Alles Gute zum Geburtstag, Christian Pulisic, who turned 20 this week, and celebrated by bouncing a ball off of himself and scoring a Champions League game winner. Not bad, Christian, not bad. I know people were giving him some flack for scoring that way, but I will tell you that I think that when you pressure a defender and you cause that to happen, that's every bit as much of a goal as any other goal. So he didn't
Lucky
plan
ones
it that
count
way,
just the same. Just ask
but it worked.
Harry Kane.
Yeah, that was way more of a goal than it bouncing off of his heel on the way to the goal,
Yeah.
on the way to a golden boot. But
He then traded jerseys with one Ethan Horvath.
he did trade jerseys with Ethan Horvath, which made me go, "Holy shit! Was Ethan Horvath in goal that whole game?"
No,
and I
he
didn't
was
realize
not.
it, but he was not. But
He was on
I
the
had
bench.
you
He
had
needs
that.
to get that starting job back. But yeah,
Have you ever
I
had
know
that
what you
moment
mean.
though where you're like, "Wait, did I just completely blow that?" No, I did not. That he wasn't. He was on the bench, but still, it was nice to see he traded jerseys with his buddy. Good to see. So, yeah, I don't think Dortmund put out some stats. That he's. I don't even remember what the stats were. I meant to write them down.
It was
but I
his
don't.
100th game.
Yeah, it was. That's right. It was his 100th game on his birthday, in which he scored the winner in the Champions League, and he was the fastest to 100 games, I believe, in Dortmund history. So, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for our boy. He hasn't played for the national team very much since
As
2017.
some people like to comment and suggest, perhaps he doesn't care. But
Yeah,
whatever.
No, it's fine.
As we said a couple weeks ago, that was dumb.
If you noticed when the Bundesliga got back in action, Pulisic was not playing in the first match either. So they obviously made the right decision by resting him. He came off the bench in the Champions League game. Obviously, he scored the winner, which we just mentioned. But yeah, this was not a fake. I don't feel like flying home to play for the national team injury. This was a real injury that required rest, and he's better, and that's exactly what you'd want to see. There is no point in sending him over here for friendlies when he's banged up. So, I mean, I think we're at the point where you come over here. What?
He's getting ready to do his one-time switch to Mexico, just to piss everybody off. Or would it be Italy or Cyprus? Which one would it be in this case?
What?
For the people who are going to take that seriously, it's a joke.
It's a bad joke, though. I'm not even.
Yeah, no, you at least got to get the countries right. Because at first I was like, what?
Well, don't they all want it? Isn't that always the rumor they're gonna do is a one-time switch to go play for Mexico?
Yes, I actually did my one-time switch. I'm going to play for Mexico coming here soon, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, it would be Croatia would be his other nationality, TJ, but he's not.
But it's Mexico, so it's funnier.
Timely as usual. Hello, Anonymity. It's good to see you. Hello, friend. Yeah, so happy birthday to him. He's doing good things. There are more good things to come. I think when you're scoring game winners in the Champions League, you're off to a decent start this season. So I worry about our boy still. I worry about him that, he didn't have the best output last year, and I think maybe the hype train has gotten a little bit too out of control with him, but he's still ridiculous. I mean, the fact that he just turned 20 and he's done all this, he's still ridiculous. So, yeah.
There is that. Yeah, I mean, like, isn't it Sancho that people are now saying is better than him?
Sancho's very good.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, he had a hot start. It's kind of the same thing that Pulisic had off the bat, where it was like, oh, where's this kid from? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, coming off the bench, making some good plays, and then getting the game winner. It's always a good sign.
Sancho had when the guys got off the plane at O'Hare, when I went to see them, Sancho was wearing like these gold sort of they were very wizardly type glasses. I don't know how else to explain it. It looked like he was going to do magic tricks or something on the street. He had interesting glasses. Just like
or he was Elvis?
It was not the Elvis glasses are really clear. They're sort of aviators. They've got the holes in the side.
Yeah.
Not the Elvis glasses. If it was the Elvis glasses, that somewhere I own the Elvis glasses with the fake sideburns, and I don't know what I did with them, but I want them right now. Thinking about that, I have to try to track those down.
TJ and Zero Anonymity have a German conversation going on.
I thought.
Speaking of, should we move on to other things about one-time switches?
Yes, we should. We should do that. That's a great segue. That's a hell of a segue.
Dynamite drop in there, Monty.
One Jonathan Klinsmann is getting there are discussions that perhaps he could get interest from Germany and get a call up there.
Yeah, he's going to a
camp for him, right?
A goalkeeper camp. Which, to say that this now is creating a situation in which we're going to have to battle Germany over him is a bit much.
It's a lot of people looking for something to talk about. I mean, realistically, come on, the guy's not even in serious conversation for a job for the U.S., much less for Germany.
I mean, they're getting older.
I was just going to ask, if he were to make the one-time switch, would anybody care?
He's pretty far down the pecking order for, I think, either side to truly worry. That said, I mean, hey, we certainly don't have the pipeline of players that Germany has or a lot of other countries. So, yeah, every time we lose somebody, it's not necessarily a positive, but I don't think anybody's truly concerned.
Well,
it's a good thing for him. It can't hurt. I don't think we're in any great risk of losing him unless he becomes really, really good. And at that point, he would choose Germany because you get to try to win a World Cup then. But I don't know that he becomes that good. We'll see. He's still very young, but there's a lot of guys. When you think about the guys that Germany just has, like Bernd Leno or somebody like that, who would start for us in a heartbeat, but doesn't make the bench with Germany. I don't think we're at any risk of anything.
I mean, look, they certainly need to start evaluating their next generation because they're two number ones, or number one and number two. I think based off most of the last year and a half or so, you could kind of go with two number ones are both getting up there. I mean, they probably both still have another 4 years in them. But yeah, you want to start evaluating your future talent. So I can see where younger guys are going to start getting looks for them. But is Klinsmann in that conversation? I mean, Hertha was still calling him too American just a year ago. They've said he's made progress, but I want to see him starting regularly and truly making a difference in the Bundesliga before I really start talking about, oh yeah, no, he has a total chance to be playing for Germany, and the U.S. has to worry about losing him.
And yeah, Rob, he's from California. His dad's obviously a very, very, very famous German, but
He is? Who's his dad?
I don't remember. But you can't do that because somebody like 6 months from now will go, these two idiots don't know who Klinsmann is.
I wish I would have thought of this and brought my Klinsmann mask.
You should have. But yeah, Jurgen's lived in the U.S. since late 90s, maybe.
At least,
long time.
At least, yeah.
So, and his wife is from California. Jonathan grew up in California, but he has a strong tie to Germany too. So we'll see.
To answer your question, kind of to go back, sorry to go back on this one. Ter Stegen is 26. He's got at least 2 World Cups left in him for sure.
I guess Ter Stegen's a little bit younger than I was thinking. I was thinking he was like 27 or 28 already. But yeah, I mean, you know, either way, hey, it's not a bad idea to start evaluating your future talent when, yeah, you've got 2 clear number ones, but whatever. Yeah, 26. Yeah, he's probably still got 2 more to play easily.
And Neuer has 32, so he might have 1 more, but honestly, it's probably going to be Ter Stegen in the next one anyway.
At the level Ter Stegen is, I don't see where he wouldn't replace Neuer. I mean, especially when you look at most of the last year, Neuer was unavailable because of injury. So, you know, if anything like that happens again, that's probably the end of his international career. So there's a real likelihood that Ter Stegen's the number 1 going forward. That said, man, Neuer, I don't like. It's hard to vote against somebody like Ter Stegen because he's awesome. But I look at Neuer as like the guy's sort of like an 11th player for you out there, and I know literally he is. But I mean, like he's almost an 11th outfield player in addition to being your goalie. Like he's
here, Chris. Let me throw an analogy at you that kind of I think you'll appreciate. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe.
And one day the Bears may have a quarterback too. There, Pat. We'll come back to that later.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Jameson, I would put Neuer over De Gea. I mean, De Gea is probably a better shot stopper right now, based on age and maybe even size. But I don't know. I've never actually looked at their 2 sizes together. It looks like De Gea is bigger, but maybe that's just because he's skinnier. I don't know. But I mean, I consider Neuer probably the greatest goalie of all time. Some of that is I don't respect a certain Italian who a lot of people consider the best ever, but whatever. That's another story. Stop this German talking, please. Christian does not like it. We should have probably noted while we were on Champions League. I saw somebody else comment on it too. Weston McKennie also had an assist on the opening goal for Schalke. So versus what was that, Porto? Is that right? I can't remember now. But yeah, so all in all, a nice Champions League start for 2 Americans right off the bat, and especially for 2 very key Americans.
I mean, Schalke's his shit in the Bundesliga, so hopefully that helps them.
Well, let me. While we're on the Champions League, let me ask both of you guys: how did you guys watch? Did you guys spend the money for Bleacher Report Live, or did you just watch the TNT games? How'd you guys or did you guys use Deportes?
I watched the TNT games, and I spent $2.99 on the Bayern sporting match.
There while I'm at work, so I watch the.
I was just basically
score line on what is it, the FootMob app.
I was gonna do Reddit soccer streams, but I wanted to see. I'm like, I'll pop for the $3. I'll see how it works. It might give me something to talk about on the show. So,
Deportes, my phone blows up the entire day with updates. But if you can stream on Deportes, they're all free. So that's how I was watching as much as I could. So
then that's what we'll do from now on.
My Spanish is about as good as your German, Pat. So there's some challenges there, but it was didn't have to pay for it, and I'm certainly not going to pay $80 for Bleacher Report or in TNT. I guess everybody I heard that was using their app, it kept crashing. So Deportes you could bounce whatever game, and it seemed to work just fine.
Anonymity does not want me to mention things anymore, so I won't.
Es perfecto.
Out of respect to him, I will not mention those things.
Perfecto mundo. I'll say right now. That leads us, I think, to our fourth American in the Bundesliga. One Josh Sargent, who had his photo taken with the first team and has been training with the first team, as Werder Bremen put out in a tweet. Was that earlier today? When did that actually go out? I know I saw it today, but I didn't actually look at when they sent it. So it's leading some people to wonder, is he going to make the 18 this weekend?
That would be nice.
I mean, hey,
he's going to at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's scoring and assisting just about every game, playing for the youth team. So you've got to say that it's coming. I mean, they're going to give him the chance, because why wouldn't you? If you get somebody who's proving himself capable of the challenge at a lesser level, you're going to move him up and see what he can do.
Especially with a run of games coming up, you're going to want to squad. And fine, throw him in. He's been great. We'll see what he could do at the top level with the top team, but I think he's earned it, and I don't think it's not a big surprise, and I don't feel that same level of fear for him that I do for some other Americans who, are thrown into big opportunities. I think he's got this, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely things are coming his way right now. It's not kind of like a Bobby Wood situation right now, to speak of another American in the Bundesliga, who for so much of the last year, it's like things have just the ball's always bounced the wrong way for him. Josh Sargent, it's like the ball's setting up perfectly for him every single time. And what more can you ask for a striker?
Sandra's mentioning that she speaks German, French, and a little bit of Luxembourgish. I think, Sandra, you live very close to Luxembourg, don't you? So that would come in handy for you. But I'm guessing everyone who lives in Luxembourg speaks multiple languages, like most of Europe. So, and don't forget English, Sandra. You do speak English. Mark that down. What's left, guys? I mean, those are the things that I had on my list, but it's 9:23, and I don't think that we should end the show yet. You want to talk about American Vandal?
I don't know what that is.
It's season 2, guys. It's on Netflix. You should watch it.
Gooch. On way you retired.
Oh, yeah.
Which is funny because I thought he was already retired.
I know. It was funny to me that he was immediately on one of those Bleacher Report shows, like either that day or the next day.
He was doing like TV the very next day, and he was good at it too.
Yeah. I'll always have a soft spot for him because of that Dos a Cero, the first Dos a Cero that we attended, that one back in 2005. I still sometimes wear my 2006 jersey of his, pretty much just in honor of that. Even if things didn't quite work out for him that World Cup, but he also got a little bit screwed. Like the penalty against Ghana, that was nothing but a dive. He didn't foul anyone at all. That World Cup.
When we first started doing the show, coming up on 2 years ago now, unbelievably, you would set up like a ladder behind you.
Yes.
And you would have jerseys hanging off of the ladder. And I remember you had the Onyewu 22.
That was in advance of our trip for games we won't talk about. It wasn't that I set up a ladder; it was that I was working on my house at the time and had a ladder set up.
Constantly a ladder available.
Yeah, I was. It was ceiling work and high wall work that required a ladder. So
used to try. Now we get the closed window.
Yeah,
The blinds
get the
behind
blinds
you.
behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about I could hang some stuff here, but it just takes a little more work. I'm also at a dinner table, and usually I've just fed children and things not too long before this, maybe a couple hours or something, and I don't know. I don't feel like doing it.
Ooh, what do you
Sooner
feed
or
them?
later,
What do you feed them?
I will get my real background set back up. I've been thinking about the faces I need to add to it these days.
You had, and you also then you did the show from your old basement, and you had the Budweiser ad or whatever it was with the holes cut out for the heads.
I don't remember whose ad that is. If it's a tequila or if it's a beer, but it came from a bar during the 2010, 2014. Must be 2014 World Cup.
Yeah, those were the days. The head coaching search. Yeah, we're not going to have anybody for a while. Is the word?
Oh yeah, we should talk about. So the rumor is that Tata Martino is going to leave Atlanta United at the end of the season. Mexico is supposedly in the running to get him, and I think was it Colombia? Yeah. Colombia and Mexico are both in the running. No word if the United States is on that list. And based on Ernie Stewart's comments about he wants his coach to speak English,
I don't think he is.
You would kind of think he's not.
I'm sure he speaks some English.
I mean, whatever. He manages to survive in an American league with American players on his team.
I'd be fine with it, but I don't get the sense that that's where this is going. I don't really know where this is going, other than I think that
it's clearly an MLS coach.
It's going to be Berhalter, and that's just what it's going to be. Isn't Caleb Porter going to take the LA Galaxy job?
Supposedly that's happening.
So,
I don't think Caleb Porter would be that necessarily that good on the national level anyway. I think Berhalter is the best option. Honestly, Berhalter is the best option out there right now. To be honest, he's proving what he can do with Columbus. That he can take a fair to middling team and make them pretty good. I mean,
yeah, but what's Don Garber paying you to say that?
I'm getting my money from Soros this week. Don Garber, I get Garber bucks next week. David Moyes is hanging out in New York a hell of a lot.
That's really sad, isn't it?
That is true.
He's like, guys, remember me? I would love this job.
I mean, it's like I don't even know what to say there. On the one hand, he was pretty awesome at Everton.
My initial thought was to make fun of Jack because he would have to put up with David Moyes twice. But David Moyes was good at Everton.
Yeah.
It was after Everton that things started to fall apart.
And I don't entirely blame him. I mean, I think he got set up a little bit in the in the thing at United. It was just a bad situation all around. Like, they were kind of failing. Sir Alex Ferguson walked away, and then I guess you could say, in a sense, went into free fall a little bit. But there were a lot of issues there. I mean, they kind of still haven't climbed out of it. I know you can say that, sure, they're back in the top four and things, but like,
they used to win every year, or it wasn't like they were scrambling for Europe. It was they were first or second, and that was it. And not like last year where they were second by like a mile behind City, and they never lost to City. I mean, that just never happened. If you're an MLS team, most MLS teams, wouldn't you look at David Moyes?
I don't see how he hurts. Like, so what if he failed at United? I think anyone was going to fail at United. Some of that is a product of when you've got someone who's been there so long. There's a lot to change over. They weren't investing in players the way they had been. And by investing, I mean just buying everyone they could. They started to do that again under Mourinho, but they're still not really doing it, it seems, with a plan. They're just kind of buying guys as they can. And maybe you could say that was even kind of happening then, but they're I don't know. It looks like United kind of is grasping at straws a little bit. And I feel like Moyes got some bad luck because of that. So I can't say that I want him as U.S. coach, but I also can't say that I think he'd be a terrible choice.
And I guess I wasn't even thinking him as U.S. coach. I really, sorry, my
Or
Garber
as an
Bucks.
MLS coach.
My Garber Bucks is going to say it's really Berhalter or bust. But if you're an MLS team and you're looking for a coach, wouldn't you would have to take a look at him? I would think. There's a lot worse. There's a lot worse out there. So, and oh yeah, speaking of old national teamers, Ralston.
Who is Steve Ralston?
Brewers led the Brewers in saves in 1999.
God, I mean, really? That was from MLS. Who is Steve Ralston? At one point, he was the all-time leading assist man in the league. I don't remember if he is still or who's taken that out.
I mean, I know he was never like a flashy guy, but he was big in MLS, and he sure did represent the U.S. a number of times.
Who is Brian McBride?
That's the one who led the Brewers in saves in 1999.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. He might have been a Bears quarterback too, somewhere in there. They had some wonderful ones for a time.
Somebody asked when Sebastian Soto will make the field at Hanover. I don't know. Like, he's still young. He was signed to play with the U19s. I want to see him probably play the U23 team, and then we see. I'll say. Show me some production, and it's promising, but I don't know. I want to see more. Considering he's only been there a few months, I would expect it's a little bit more time. Maybe you see him towards the end of the season, but if things go well and progress, of course. But until then, I don't know. Who's Freddie Adu? Yeah, that's a good question.
That one's coming sooner than we think. Who is Freddie Adu? I mean, but seriously, there was just 2 days ago, somebody showed me there's a book coming out called "Who is Michael Jordan?" Are we really there?
Wait, is that for real? Or are you making
seriously, it's a children's book. Who is Michael Jordan?
Huh.
He's been retired. His first retirement was 20 years ago, to be honest.
No, the second retirement was 20 years ago.
I guess second, yeah.
Bulls one, yeah.
Sorry, his Bulls, the one that I count. I guess I don't count his Wizard years. It's kind of like...
Because the first one took him to the Birmingham Barons for a little bit as a...
Yeah, that was... I don't call that retirement. I call that more of a suspension, so...
Brian McBride, the Vito Roscoe? I'm trying to figure out where your name could fit in there. Brian McBride, the Milwaukee Rampage, yeah. TJ, didn't you and I go see McBride play for the Rampage?
Probably did it
20 years ago. 20 more than that, actually. Him and
25,
Eddie Pope.
Yeah. 25 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
That was back when the two of the top teams in the A-League were them and the Minnesota Thunder. If you want to go way back in the days. Scalotto, somebody threw his name out there for U.S. national team. Does he? But would he leave? But isn't he coaching Boca Juniors right now?
Yeah, I thought so.
Would you leave Boca Juniors for the U.S. national team?
I don't know.
I mean, if the timing was right, yeah. With the way
timing, money,
yeah, maybe.
I mean, Boca Juniors
but probably not.
Is huge around the Classicos, but they're not the club they were when, I don't know, say Maradona was playing there. That said,
they're still pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of the things I want to do is go to Buenos Aires and go see Boca Juniors play. That's one of my bucket list games. Really, Boca Juniors River Plate, but I think good luck probably getting into the stadium on that day. Getting
out alive might be as much of a challenge as getting in.
To me, part of the adventure is the added danger. I like the flares and the...
You mean when they try gassing the players as they're coming out of the tunnel? That was a couple of years ago, but I recall that the River Plate players got gassed as they're coming out of the tunnel after halftime.
Oh, zero anonymity? No, I totally know those games are out of control. Actually, that was one of the things. One of the ideas that led to USfanTV was an old. I won't go into all of it here in case we ever do it, but an old kind of travel show idea that Pat and I had about going to like huge games around the world.
It would be a good show. It would be, but we both have children, and it's hard to leave.
We'll see.
Those little fuckers, man. They hold you down. They hold you back. But they're cute. All right.
I don't know. My little guy might get suspended for Saturday's game. Yeah,
Why?
he ran a foul with mom, so he might be suspended for Saturday's game.
Red card at home.
Yep.
Roger, I just don't believe Tab's going to get it. Roger's suggesting he'd take Tab Ramos over an MLS coach.
Wouldn't it be Tab by now if it was going to be Tab?
See, that's my feeling. He didn't get it immediately, which makes me think he's not getting it. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that if it was going to be him, they wouldn't have just made the decision a year ago or 6 months ago or even a week ago or whatever, Like, he's always been there. You could have done it. I also wonder a little bit, would he accept it at this point? Because, like, he did get skipped over. Is it maybe better for him to wait a cycle and then demand money or something, and be like, look, it's got to be me. Come on.
Anonymity, those aren't frosted tips. He's just graying. That's legitimately what it is with him.
Frosted tip.
The only one I know that goes with frosted tips would probably be Bozil these days, right, Chris? So
white.
Alex wants to talk about NWSL. Did either of you watch the North Carolina Chicago game up in Portland last night?
I did. In fact, I watched it Tuesday night, not last night.
Or was it Tuesday night? Sorry.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, yeah.
Again, Chicago goes out in the semifinal. That's what they do. That North Carolina team's pretty damn good, though. So it was odd for a bit watching the game in the empty stadium, mostly empty stadium, and the fans who were there, I don't know if they got louder or if they turned up the mics on ESPN or what, but actually you kind of heard some atmosphere then. But Chicago just really couldn't do anything. They did Chicago hit I think it was Sam Kerr both times, right? She hit the crossbar and the post at the beginning of the match, and then you kind of got the sense that those were the chances that needed to go if they were going to go, and they didn't. So
I was just I was more amazed with really how end to end that game was. That game was wide open. I mean, for a playoff game, you usually expect it to be a lot tighter, and that game was pretty wide open and it was fun to watch. I guess I was pretty impressed. I enjoyed watching the game, the outcome aside. I agree with Alex, kind of a craptastic outcome, but it was a fun game to watch in that sense. And that second goal, holy crap.
Yeah. So the final is Saturday, is that right? Thorns and Courage. We'll see if the being matters or if being the best team matters. I think I have a feeling Courage win it in the end. So I hate that name. It's like Roger Bennett came up with it.
Yeah.
I like it when he says it. I don't like it as a name. But that's a very, very good team.
Do we ever watch ESPN with that Scottish guy and Shaka Hislop, etc.? The ESPN FC or whatever they moved to ESPN Plus? No.
I haven't watched them in years. I used to sometimes every once
when it was on ESPN2 or something, I would catch it. But since it's moved to ESPN Plus, no. The only show I think I watch is Katie Nolan's show on ESPN Plus, and otherwise it's live sports, and that's about all ESPN Plus is good for at this point. I guess they have some old boxing I'll probably watch when there's nothing else on. So
old boxing,
like Hagler Leonard and some of the classic old fights that way.
Do you bet on it?
No, I'd probably lose. Here,
I was gonna ask who. Oh, Zero Anonymity was asking about Shock. I was gonna say do you hate him because because he's from Trinidad.
What I was gonna ask you guys is, you were talking about Roger with, and Men in Blazers. Is their expiration date coming up pretty soon? I'm starting to wonder if their act is running a little thin.
I still like them a lot, but I don't listen to them. It used to be sort of like this show with you guys. It used to be something that I would listen to all the time, and now it's only like here. I can't listen. Maybe I'll listen to half of a show and then I'll skip a show and then listen to a whole show. So I don't see their TV stuff as much as I used to, because it's always on like after Burnley and I don't know, Brighton and Hove Albion or whoever is playing on those Monday games on NBCSN. So, but yeah, I still like them. I hope they continue to do what they do.
Dempsey for a send-off game? I don't want it.
I don't think
you're
you want
down
it.
on Dempsey. I
I'm not. I guess I don't really believe in testimonial games for international players. Like, I'm okay with them. Maybe it's just because they've gone on for so long at the club level. Because then it is just a friendly, but like so much of international soccer is played in friendlies anyway. It just seems to me, I don't know, like it just seems to me like it's a cheap kind of game to trot him out for. And then it becomes, okay, let's say he scores a hat trick there. Does that count the same for his, say, international goal total? Because that also seems unfair to me. Like, those things are set up to pretty much just give the star a great send off, and you expect they're gonna. I mean, maybe it's not Putin playing hockey bad, but like they're gonna get goals, like it's an all-star game or something. And does that? What happens then for like the goals record and everything?
Landon comes out of retirement for his testimonial.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that. First of all, Landon had one of these kinda
did.
And he played a half and he did not score. You're right, they do try to get the player a goal. I don't think Deuce is going to do it. I don't think it's going to happen. They are having him at the Fulham match this weekend, which is pretty cool that he's going to be back at the Cottage.
But I'm not sure he would do it either. I mean, anybody who retires mid-season, to me, that's
wasn't
kind of a
mid-game,
sign.
at least.
Yeah, true. It wasn't. Didn't have it at halftime in the locker room, but
done.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. You nya, me nya.
What's actually in Craven Cottage? I mean, I get it. That's what they call the stadium, but isn't there an actual cottage within it?
There's a
I
pub.
Don't think so there's a McBride's pub. I wonder who it's named for. Anyway, like I was saying, I don't know that he'd do it. To me, anybody who's dropping out right then, that's pretty much a sign you're done. Like there's something either there's no coming back.
I hope and
there's something major that has you stopping.
So it's McBride's pub, so it's named after Danny McBride, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope with Deuce it's not a heart thing again. And I have no reason to believe it is. There's nothing out there that indicates it is, but I just, because of the sudden nature of it and the fact that he had the heart thing a couple of years ago, I really hope it's nothing to do with that. So,
hey Pat, Hunter seems to think you need a spinoff, dude. You need to do your own thing, apparently.
I can barely get up for this anymore. I can't imagine doing a second. Had that contract dispute a couple of weeks ago.
I forgot about your contract spinoff. Hell, maybe I'll quit planning for my spinoff and let you take the lead on that one.
You can do your spinoff, the Soccer Hipster Podcast.
Yeah, I keep thinking about it, but I get it. That's a lot of work.
I drew you a logo a couple weeks ago.
You drew me, and wasn't it nothing more than this?
That would have been funny, but just put a red card behind it.
What was that website we used where we paid the guy in Southeast Asia $5 to come up with the
Fiverr?
USFan? That's it. Yes, Fiverr. The USFanTV logo. Take your sketches and I felt
Media deal for Dempsey. I wonder if he'd do like a fishing show. That
he doesn't seem like a guy who would want to do.
He doesn't seem like he'd be good on air talking about soccer, because he'd probably just be like, "Oh man."
Wouldn't Dempsey kind of reminds me a little bit of Peter Gibbons in Office Space. I do nothing.
I just want to score goals and go fishing.
Hunter, do you know that because Chris lives in Wisconsin, he has been wrongfully recognized as Mason Crosby?
Don't.
It's happened.
Was it done on his Snapchat feed?
No, but we will be sharing Chris's Snapchat handle with you after the game on our Twitter. We'll put it up. You can go and follow him on Snapchat. See all the things that he's putting up there, claiming he's not.
Chris is just shaking his head like, what the hell did it? Okay, then I think on that point, I think we have bottomed out officially tonight, Pat.
I think 45 minutes. Was that about 45 minutes? I think that's a fair show. That's a good show. The cornhole's on. You know, I watched a little bit of that.
I can't believe there's a professional cornhole league. What the hell?
You know what's good is when you watch on YouTube now, like if you watch the show after the fact, you can see some of the chat as it was happening. Because for a while, me going the cornhole, I watched some of that randomly without the explanation of the chat to support it. It was a lot weirder than it is now, and it's still weird, but that's right, Chris. South Florida fans are the best. Alex, do your homework.
Chris does not like he's holding a grudge because I said that. I said, what was that, like a year ago or something? I remember you sent a message. I don't even remember if I responded. I just remember it did make me laugh. I was like, ooh, I got busted.
So you know what's weird? Like I said the Atlanta MLS team wouldn't draw.
You may have been wrong.
And I don't get heat for that like you get heat for the South Florida fans are bad.
Well, it's Chris and his frosted tips. That's why.
Yeah.
So Sandra is
naturally saying, frosted.
He's got a
frosted by nature.
He's got a good connection.
Frosted by nature. I guess I hate you.
Christoph Cameron was one of the best ever. I wouldn't even put him as the best Chris in there. If you're going for best commentators ever, it's got to be Chris Combs.
Stand by that, and that's a fair assessment.
Yes, anonymity. You're right there, Harry. They're both. I'm sure there's a good fan or two down there, but mostly.
Hey, there's soccer.
I just look at it as like South Florida fans never sell out stadiums. They never attend games. There's never a huge atmosphere. Maybe when the U was fully I don't know, committing crimes to win all the time, maybe they were doing all right. But it's I don't know, even when the Heat were awesome, they couldn't sell out.
So, well, I want to say happy birthday to Christian. And you know what we're going to get you for your birthday? We're going to get you a free subscription to USfanTV on YouTube.
There you go.
We'll pay for that.
Happy birthday. Yeah, I guess the Marlins. I also don't like that. I don't know. South Florida teams tend to be so boom and bust. It's we're going to spend everything to win a championship, then we got to sell everyone.
I do think, and people are asking about Inter Miami. I do think that they will draw because I think Miami's got a few Latinos who live there, and I think that's who will. I think they're going to market the team, the Latino population there. I think I could see a major. There was talk about will it be Messi? That would do it.
That'll get a couple guys. I've heard that guy's pretty good.
Yeah, if Chicharito's not here already, he could be. You don't really have a huge Mexican population in Miami, but he's a big name. But I do think that Golden Balls is going to bring a superstar or two albeit probably an aging superstar or two to that team, and I think they'll do pretty well. But
a 38-year-old Messi is still going to be the star of that league. I don't care.
Oh, I'd go.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
This is why I'm pissed when Barcelona doesn't sell out. Like, what are you doing? Go. The tickets aren't that expensive, and you get to see him. You are taking him for granted.
If you guys have seen the picture, I think I put it up on Instagram last year 9 months ago, whatever it was when I went. I spent $46 or something like that for 2 tickets, like with all the fees and everything included. And we were in the second row on the deck, like I don't know, the edge of the deck, just behind the goal. It was opposite the home fans, but in La Liga, it's pretty much all home fans in the stadium anyway. But I think all the goals were right in front of us. Certainly, both the Messis.
Now my question is, is it Inter Miami? Or they've said that for sure now. Will they launch before my 50th birthday?
I keep like stumbling here because on the one hand, all it takes is them to get this deal done on the stadium, and then I think it probably, I think it's like straight into play. They could probably be there in a year. That said, when will the deal on the stadium get done?
We're slated for them to begin in 2020, right?
I think that's
stadium
right.
Or not, as long as there's plans for a stadium. Now, as we've seen with Tottenham, sometimes when you're building a stadium, things can go wrong. There can be delays. As long as they have a place to play, I think they'll be good to go. So,
they really can't use Fort Lauderdale because that stadium pretty much turned into a forest. So that would be a problem.
All right. This is USfanTV. We have Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. They are all USfanTV. Chris puts his artwork up there. You should see it.
Boom.
Go look at it. We also have YouTube. You heard of it? We have it. You should subscribe to YouTube. How do you do that? You push the button right now.
Watch it and love it. Subscribe to it.
I don't remember. It might be there or there. I don't remember where it is on your screen, but you should push it. I don't know. Do that for us, will you? TJ, do you have final words?
You will.
We are at 1,300 subscribers right now. If we hit 1,500, we'll make it an Ask Us Anything show where the entire show is nothing but questions for us to answer about anything.
Cool.
Okay. We'll do any topic. Any topic. Chris, do you have any final words?
Not on that note. Thanks, everybody. You're done.
Adios. You're done.